I'm Melonhead, your guide through the dumpster fire of reality. We dig into conspiracies, scams, and the filth they try to flush away. Brace yourself, the sewer's open.
mRNA bill in food is a critical thing. But I want to alert you to the fact that it's not just food. The title of this presentation by the good Professor H is Production of a Transgenic Mosquito as a Flying Syringe to Deliver Protective Vaccine via Saliva. The Gates Foundation's been funding all sorts of genetic engineering of mosquitoes, and there's a lot of talk about using mosquitoes and the mosquito bite to help vaccinate certain populations. I don't have proof that that's viable yet, but I know they're working on it, okay? So I'm not suggesting that the mosquitoes that Bill Gates is working with to engineer down in Florida are injecting anyone with anything. What I am suggesting is that I have absolutely indisputable evidence that they are working to make sure that they can.
So let me get this straight. Mosquitoes already ruined barbecues. Now they're gonna ruin my immune system too?
This lady has no accountability whatsoever. Steals a Rolex and money from a nursing home. And she works there.
How we doing today? Leaving work with some merchandise?
No. Can I help you, officer?
I was just watching some very interesting video footage from your work. Mind if I search you? Empty your pockets right now.
Can I have some sort of warrant?
You're making this way harder than it has to be.
Video.
What do you know? That looks just like the Rolex that was stolen from the nursing home that you work at. Yep. There's the money.
Are you happy? Can I go now?
Excuse the McFuck out of you. What do you mean, can I go now? Ashamed of absolutely nothing. You stole from an old person. They can't even defend themselves, bro.
Where did these come from?
Does that matter? We both know where it comes from.
You often steal from your job and where you work? Turn around, hands behind your back.
Can we please just talk about this?
Talk about what? You stealing? Or talk about how you have no shame about this shit? Stealing from old people, bro, that's a new low. Why did you get that job? There's nothing worse than people in healthcare that don't care.
I think this is a bit dramatic to be arrested. What footage? Can I see the footage?
Absolutely, you'll see it in court. You think it's a good idea to steal?
They're not gonna miss it. But he's basically dead.
You don't think they're going to want to pass that watch down to his son?
Nah, fuck her, bro.
That ain't a nurse. That's a pickpocket in scrubs.
Let's talk about Cardi B. When it comes to Cardi B, I have found more examples of the one-eye symbolism than almost any artist or whatever you want to call her that I've ever researched. Like here we have it here for another magazine cover. Here we see her purposely doing that for the cameras. Here, her entire dress was meant to symbolize that one eye. Here we have it again. Not only is it clear one-eye symbolism, we see the red and we see the crow, which is extremely symbolic in a cult. Here we see it again for about the millionth time. And that's not even mentioning the closer relationship that Cardi B has with Michelle Lamy, pictured here at a fashion show. Mind you, this is the same exact Michelle Lamy who refuses to say God is good on video multiple times, and actually said quite the opposite in multiple interviews. Many people for years have called Cardi B an industry plant, and I have a video of Kanye West saying exactly that. Roll it.
Fucking Cardi B is over there. Cardi B is a plant by the Illuminati. She don't write her raps. She's just there to sound as ignorant as possible.
While there is so many more details about Cardi B to cover, I think the general explanation is very obvious. Artists like Cardi B are pushed and skyrocketed in the music or entertainment industry because they're not teaching people anything. Think of all the ladies, little girls, etc. that listen to Cardi B on a daily basis. These people literally idolize her, and you will see them say, I want to be just like her. But as is the story with many, many other celebrities and music artists, the message is completely negative and the occult symbolism is all over. Wake up.
My biggest flex? I've never heard a Cardi B song, not one. I just threw this video up to show you all the kind of garbage they call stars. Satanic industry plant? Please, bro. That ain't music. That's cultural food poisoning.
Hella trigger warning right now. It's one of the most disturbing things I have watched in a minute.
POV, you watch a mother push her son on a swing for 44 hours
until he loses his life. Who they're talking about in that video is Ramikia Sims, and one day in 2014, she ends up taking her son, Yair Lee to the park. At first she told her mother, I'm gonna go get some medicine for him because he's feeling a little bit sick, and then after I'm gonna take him to McDonald's or something like that. After that, a park. So her mom was like, okay, go ahead, just be careful. The whole day passes, she still hasn't returned home. They're like, what the hell, where's Ramikia? 2 days later, she still doesn't show up. Literally, a person strolling by calls the cops and says, there's this lady that I saw 2 days ago at the same park swinging her kid, her son, and he looks a little bit off. Can you guys come? They get to the park, and the son was completely limp, and she was still pushing him. She stops and she says, I couldn't stop swinging him because I heard a voice that told me that if I stopped swinging him, something really bad was gonna happen. She just kept swinging him for 2 days straight. He died of dehydration and hypothermia, and there were signs that could have prevented of this happening. There was this one random night where she called her mom saying that some armed men in suits were outside of her house and they were basically trying to come in and kill them. Her mom came and there was nobody outside.
Sounds like she's fucking suffering from schizophrenia.
That's what it turns out to be like. So it was only downhill from there.
That woman didn't hear no damn voice. She's just a monster hiding behind excuses. She deserves every ounce of hell coming her way.
This is something crazy that's been happening with homeless people. And you don't see this in the news. You don't hear anybody talking about it. But a while back, I had this friend who is homeless, and he's been homeless for some time. Now, his problem is that he just doesn't know how to fit into society, and he's just sort of made his life on the streets. And several people tried to help him, but he just does not want to leave the streets. Well, one day I was driving and I see him out and about. I stopped and I'm like, hey, let me get you some food and let's hang out for a little bit. So he gets in the vehicle and we go and get some food. I asked him, I said, do you want to ride like downtown to the shelter? And he's like, oh, no, like I don't stay at the shelter. Bad stuff happens there. And he goes, I sleep at this one business because there's a bunch of cameras outside. And I'm like, oh, what, like, are you afraid of something? And he's like, yeah. He's like, there have been a series of these vans that appear in like parks and they are like downtown and they just show up. And he said they go up to the homeless people saying that like, hey, we can help you. We can like, give you a job or, give you a place to stay. And he said they will get in those vans and he never sees them again. And he said, like he had a couple people that he knew that have just completely disappeared. And, so I was just kind of like, maybe he's been on the street too long. Like maybe he's losing it a little bit, And he's like, no, listen, go to this park right now. And I'm like, okay. So we drive over to this park. And sure enough, parked by like kind of like an encampment of homeless people was this weird looking van. There was this bald-headed guy sitting in the passenger seat with the sunglasses on. And I mean, he just looked very out of place. And this van, it was really weird because it said like something community service or something, but it didn't look like they were doing any kind of community service. And I've never heard of them before. So I was like, that's like really, really weird. And so then I ended up dropping him off for the night in front of this business where he was going to sleep. And, after that, I never heard from him again. And I haven't seen him on the streets. Like I haven't seen anyone that has got in touch with him. And it's almost like, I sometimes wonder, like, did he somehow disappear? And like, did something happen to him? Because I cannot find him like anywhere. So, it's just really eerie that all that stuff just perfectly transpired. And so I definitely think there is something going on.
When people are at their lowest, broke, sick, homeless, disaster survivors, that's when the vultures swoop in. They show up with promises: food, shelter, safety, a new start. But too often that promise is a lie. Folks disappear, families get torn apart, or they end up worse than where they started. And you know what? I also heard about a similar thing back when Katrina hit. They packed people into buses, shipped them all over the country. Families split up, some folks never reunited, all under the promise of help. Here's the truth: being poor in this world makes you pray.
Chemtrails over American skies. Are they part of some secret?
Chemtrails and contrails. Do you know the difference?
Let's see some clap.
can't make this up. These people are out here playing Scrabble with hell itself.
This is the real reason our government doesn't take care of the veterans. Watch
I am not
this.
usually a conspiracy theorist, but I have one cooking and I genuinely believe
This
it.
makes a lot of sense.
I wholeheartedly believe that the reason the government does not take care of our veterans better is because keeping our veterans in a place where they're constantly having to survive instead of thrive means that they are far less likely to be able to participate in a form of resistance against the government. And I think that their input in a resistance would be our best shot at actually
Tell me this
overthrowing an
doesn't make
authoritarian
sense.
government.
Stay weird.
Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
Funny how you're a hero when they need you, and a problem when they don't.
So if there are a bunch of dead bodies inside of Lake Tahoe, why would they not eventually rise back up to the surface like most bodies do when you dump them in water? The reason that bodies usually float back up when you dump them in a body of water is because as the body starts to break down, it releases gases. Those gases make the body bloat and rise up to the surface. But bodies don't start to decompose if they are kept cold enough. Think of like a morgue. The morgue has a refrigerator for their bodies, and they don't decompose because they are kept cold. And Lake Tahoe, at the bottom of it, acts exactly like that refrigerator. Since there's a tremendous amount of water and a tremendous depth inside Lake Tahoe, the bottom of the lake never gets above 39 degrees. So the temperature and the pressure inside of Lake Tahoe are just going to prevent the bodies from undergoing this natural decomposition process, so they never bloat and they never float back up to the surface. Some people believe that there is a depth at which most of the bodies will stay naturally, and so if you swim down to that depth, you'd see hundreds, if not thousands of bodies all around you, perfectly preserved, and they call it a really creepy name, the dancing table, because all the bodies look like they're dancing.
See, this right here is another reason I don't go snorkeling. You're looking for Nemo. Next thing you know, boom, some dude from the 80s just floating there. Nah, I ain't out here playing hide and seek with corpses.
Silver part. You see that? See that shit on the concrete, it ain't producing nothing. Hold it in your hand. No, hold the silver part. You see that? Nothing. Stand in the grass. Stand in the grass. Okay, go in the grass some more. Immediately. That's what grounding gets you. A recharge. That is crazy. Come back on the concrete. Nothing. Go back in the grass. Oh, grab it. That is crazy. Crazy numbers. That's so far.
See that? Shoes ain't protection. They're insulation, cutting us off from the juice we're supposed to be running on.
When I was a girl, I was procured and sent to work for a family. There was a boy, the boy's mother, and the boy's grandfather. They were coming from Africa. They were white as me. I thought they'd be black. And because of something the boy did, I never told what he did. The boy did something very dark. And he was very little. And then one day I asked someone in the circle, Imelda, Joaquin's mother. I asked Imelda, I said, is he the Antichrist? I was 13 years old. She didn't even blink. She said, no, but he will present the mark. And when you see him do that, the Antichrist will take the stage. So, now here we are, 40 years later. Boom, that boy is the star of the world. The boy's name then was El Elyon. It's changed over time. We're 40 years later. And I see that boy everywhere, and the world adores him, but he's the king of Babylon.
Notice the pattern. Every empire builder, every so-called genius, it's like they're marked from birth, shadow, and all. Somebody close always says, something about that one feels off. But when it's Musk, it doesn't sound like a warning anymore. It sounds like prophecy.
Stop storing food in the freezer in Ziploc bags. There's a class action lawsuit against the makers of these Ziploc bags, these bags with the SC Johnson logo on them. Let me tell you guys what's going on here. When you heat something in a Ziploc bag, if you pour something hot in there, like a soup or a gravy, and then it's heat on the bag, or if you are storing fatty foods in here, that is going to promote the release of microplastics into these Ziploc bags. Also, when you freeze something in this bag, microplastics from this bag can go into your food. The SC Johnson company is being sued in a class action lawsuit because they claim on the box that you can microwave things in here, that you can freeze things in here, that it's safe. What's the solution? Store food, heat food up in glass, right? You can get glass containers like this. You store your food in here. Obviously, there's a plastic lid, but the food doesn't touch it. Look, guys, I grew up doing this too. I never use these anymore, but you can store things in here if it's dry, you're traveling with it, it's not heat or cold, but don't put things in the freezer in here, and definitely don't heat things up in here. Even though it says microwave safe, I don't think they're being truthful, and they're getting sued. Stop using these.
And now they're getting sued? Of course they are. They knew. These companies always know. First it was BPA, then PFAS, and now it's whatever plastic alphabet soup they cooked up this year. You ditch the Ziploc bags, but most water filters are sitting in plastic casings. The tubes carrying your so-called clean water, PVC, basically marinating it in plastic before it even hits your tap. Living plastic-free ain't easy. You'll find out quick it's like trying to hold your breath in a gas chamber. The whole system's designed to choke you with it.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show.
Which didn't last long because she died.
Have you heard the Garth Brooks theory?
Garth Brooks. Oh,
you heard about it, right?
How he's like some serial killer?
Yeah. So Garth Brooks, when he's been on tour, almost every single tour location and tour date lines up to a missing person.
Crazy,
case,
fam.
or multiple. Almost every single one happened very close to the date of his tour when he entered the city.
Holy smokes.
And within 1 to 2 miles away from the stadium where he was staying.
God.
Now, it gets even deeper, right?
Yeah.
So there's somebody that really looked into it, even before he became an artist.
Yeah.
And he looked into what he was doing even as a student. So they found he was at a college.
Yeah.
And there was a girl that went missing.
Okay.
And people are speculating that was when he was in that college and she was in his class.
What the
now,
fuck?
what's interesting, he moved to a town. I think he moved to Nashville, actually. He moved to Nashville and he started working at this boot barn. 3 people went missing at the time that he was working the boot barn in Nashville.
Oh my.
And this is before he started getting his money. He got his label and he became this huge artist.
Honestly, doesn't sound that crazy. Coming from these so-called stars, I'd say it's right on brand.
No, I seriously think about this every single day, and I'm sorry if I sound stupid. If somebody has $500 and they've already paid taxes on it, and they give it to me, so now just because it goes from them to me, I also have to pay taxes on it, even though they just did. And then not only that, but anytime I spend one of those $500, I'm going to also pay another tax fee on whatever item I'm buying. And then whoever I bought the item from will have to pay taxes on the money they just earned from what I bought. So so every single dollar, like if a dollar is 100 cents, hold on. Just forget it.
Welcome to adulthood, sweetheart, where every dollar gets mugged before it dies. You're taxed when you earn it, taxed when you spend it, and if you manage to save it, the crumbs they call interest, boom, taxed again. The government's that deadbeat roommate, never pays the bills, but eats off every plate in the fridge. And the funniest part? You can't do a damn thing about it. And that's today's dose from the sewer. Catch you in the next one.